Hey everybody, I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Saaammage. I am here in New York with Marcy Kona, who is the director of Color and Style for Clairol. I'm here for the very new, first of its kind event, Clairol ColorU. We'll be teaching new techniques. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Sam, we are so excited. It's a pleasure working with you today here in New York. And what's so exciting today, it's about really authentic color and talking about trend and how blonding has played a big role in the summer's trend. So today we have three amazing women and we're going to share with you three different types of techniques.
What's on the table of contents for us today?
Okay, the first one is face framing highlighting.
Okay.
Think about it. Highlights are so important to so many people, and it's also about giving highlights in any shade of hair color. It's not about all over blonding. It's about maybe a dark brown or a medium brown, light brown, medium blonde. You're really about introducing highlights. And in a face framing technique, it's about replicating the summer sun.
So we're going to talk about how it works for everyone in different ways.
Exactly.
Well, what's next?
The second one is color contouring.
Oh,
So
that's
think
up
about
my alley.
Think about it, inspired from the makeup world. How exciting. You know, I am so inspired by how contouring can make a difference.
It's a big trend.
Yeah, so now we've applied it to hair color.
Oh, wow.
In a very fun, playful way, easy, simple, and it's where we're using two different shades of nice and easy.
Okay, and then what's last on our agenda?
Lastly, it's for the ladies that love blonde and love it so much that they do it often and they lose balance. They lose healthiness.
They fall into a routine.
Yes. So we have an amazing young woman, mom, great person, loves blonde, but wants to let her hair grow and it's breaking off. So
We're going to transition her a little bit?
We are so excited to show you a glossing treatment by Natural Instincts
That's different.
and more importantly, they've all been doing their own hair. So it's
That's
truly live
exciting.
and authentic.
That'll be awesome. So this is an interactive class, so we want you guys to get into a conversation with us. Please comment on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you are, even on Twitter on the hashtag Clairol ColorU. We'd love to hear your comments and your questions so we can really help you guys out and interact with you. So we are going to head over to face framing highlights with Carolina. I think she's waiting for us.
Great. Hey there.
Hey! What are you up to? So what are we doing?
So tell me, did you ever highlight your hair?
Oh, highlighting has a special, sad spot in my heart. My first time I ever colored my hair, I was 11 years old. Let my sister color my hair. She did highlights, and they were these huge, chunky highlights, and I still have the horrific pictures. It was so sad. So I'm so excited to see how you're supposed to do it, so I can teach my sister the proper way to do this.
So face framing highlights, let me tell you what you need, first of all. First of all, it's a technique that's done only around the halo or the front part of your hair.
That's the
so
placement.
again, being very, very selective on where you're placing them, number one.
Okay.
Number two, it's like what do you need to prepare before you get started, because I think that's important. So you need one box or two boxes, I would recommend, of Clairol's hair painting. It's amazing the amount of color that's here. But it's always important to have two boxes just in case you run out, because some people with longer hair, and longer hair we know is very much on trend. Large tooth comb, a hand mirror, a towel, and a comfortable shirt. So Carolina actually colored her hair with our Clairol hair painting.
It looks great.
Right before, you can see it's very subtle, it's very simple, it gives a nice little punch of color.
It's way better than what my hair looked like when I tried.
Yes,
so
on dark hair. So what's fun about it is she's taking, the most important thing is to prepare.
Okay.
So you want to design your highlights.
So how do we do this? What is
So again, you think about from ear to ear and in front of your hair.
Okay.
So it's a diagonal part, and we also gathered a little hair behind the ear.
Okay.
Okay, and so she's taking her expert tool, which comes in the Clairol hair painting kit, almost like a pencil, and she's gliding the lightener right down the shaft of her hair, and as she gets to that part, she uses her finger to kind of go together all the way down.
To blend it down.
But if you notice her highlights, so we're going to avoid stripiness, they're done in a regular pattern.
We don't want consistent placement.
Exactly. So again, design and prep, apply and relax for about 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes.
10.
After 10 minutes, here's where people fall short, is When you highlight, you're removing pigment from the hair, whether it's natural or whether it's color treated.
Whether it's been
So as you
dyed.
remove pigment from the hair, it exposes this underlying pigment. Some people call that red tone, warm, gold. So we want to be able to check where she's at.
Okay.
So
How do we do this?
the easiest way we check is we take a paper towel, a damp paper towel.
Okay.
And after 10 minutes, we take one of those highlights and we literally slide down and cleanse off the lightener product.
Okay, wipe it
and
down.
then look at that behind the backdrop of a paper towel, which is very white. And it will tell you where the hair color is at that
the
moment.
tones.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can decide, yes, I'm really happy with that tone, so I'm going to go ahead and take my highlights off, or I need to reapply
Got
and
it.
let it continue
process
processing.
check.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. So, a couple tips I would love to give you for highlighting.
Okay.
Because highlighting to me
It's
should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun, right? It shouldn't. Always, I feel most important is that you should practice where you're applying them. And
It'll take the
Carolina
nerves
is
out of
like
it.
an expert here, and
She's doing great.
Yes, she just started this. You know, again, you can see her beautiful artwork on the other side.
Yes.
However,
Yes,
you know,
girl.
she practiced, and we practiced together, and she used conditioner to
That's
really
great.
design again on dry hair. You should always apply your highlights on
Okay.
dry hair,
That's
and
good to
also
know.
the way you style your hair, because you wouldn't want to put a highlight, let's say, down the center part and you wear a side part.
It'll
You're
look
not gonna
different
see
when
it.
you style it normally.
Exactly.
So however you would wear your hair, even if you tie it up, maybe and let it fall right after
Exactly.
and see how it lays.
Exactly. Then also less is more. You know, we tend to feel as kind of beauty junkies,
We
I'm
do
going to
a
put a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Or
We're
those-
heavy-handed. I am.
Right, or those amazing salon balayage or ombre, but this is highlighting. So we want to be really specific.
We don't want to cover too much.
No, we really just want to give a pop of color around that hairline so she can enjoy it for a long time. The other thing I would recommend is to take a photograph when you've got all your highlights on so that you can replicate or at least know where you placed them the last time when you get ready to do it the next time.
Okay.
Okay, and it's also important to care for your hair when you highlight.
So how do we take care of our hair?
We have in our hair painting kit an amazing conditioner called our ColorCO conditioner.
Oh, okay.
So you can use it immediately after you shampoo, rinse, and condition. And it helps to close the cuticle down, protect the hair, and you can use it weekly if you'd like as well.
Okay. So those are the
These-
post-care.
Yes, and
You're
this
doing
is
great.
face framing highlights.
It's awesome. So I think we have a question.
We do? We have a question?
We have a
We have a comment. Doing a great job, Carolina. And you can just see how it kind of opens up her whole face when you think about it.
It definitely just is nice and natural.
You know, here's a comment and question that we're getting is
Okay.
how do I apply highlights on dark hair?
That's the
Because
hardest.
again, we always think of highlighting as blonde.
Okay.
It depends on the length of the hair. Again, style it how you normally would style it.
Okay.
And you want to design it. You want to section out that front area.
Okay.
Or you want to take just very small pieces around the hairline. You can be a little bit more, I don't want to say erratic, but a little bit more customized depending on how you wear your hair. Because if you wear your hair smooth all the time, you want to be incredibly deliberate with your highlights. If you add a lot of texture, you might want to be able to apply your highlights closer to the part, and then maybe the next section you stay to the ends or all the way to the ends, just to give you a more irregular look to complement texture.
Makes sense. I do know that's pretty scary on dark hair, like not knowing where to place it because you think it would be really dramatic and where it's going to show the comparison.
Well,
of light
always
and dark.
remember too, you can always do a strand test.
Oh.
And what I mean by that is taking your hair painting kit from Clairol
Okay.
and taking a section and applying it in only one section.
What section would you recommend? Behind the ear usually?
I always recommend behind the ear.
Okay.
It's a little discreet in case you don't like it, but at least you could see how your hair is affected by the hair painting technique.
All right. So we have another question from Ashley, and she's wondering from Twitter, hey Ashley, how close should she get to the roots when she's highlighting her hair to face frame?
Such a great question. How close you get to the
That's
roots?
scary.
Right. Today the look is a very much a deeper root area, and the highlight kind of
Changed
melts
over time a
right.
lot.
So honestly, as close as Carolina got is what I would recommend.
So don't touch the scalp.
Right. I don't think it's important to touch the scalp.
Okay.
I think it's really important to have that contrast of her natural color or her previously colored hair.
Okay.
And the highlights.
That's perfect. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for your questions. Please keep giving us more. I think we are going to head over to our second station of color contouring.
Great.
And Bree
Thank
is
you so
waiting
much.
for us. How are you doing, Bree?
So,
color contouring.
yes, as we talked about, the inspiration comes from makeup.
Yes.
And it's all about taking a foundation color and a highlight color.
That's
And-
what we do. That's what I'm
Exactly.
used to. It usually gives shape and dimension and levels. So
Right.
how does that apply to hair usually?
So how it applies to hair is so many women, and Nice and Easy is all about dimension.
Okay.
But oftentimes
They get stuck on one?
we get stuck on one shade. And
Don't
you know,
we all?
Right. And Nice and Easy is a permanent colorant, so it can lighten, it can deposit depending on the shade you've chosen.
Okay.
But the most important thing is that on the mid shaft and ends, you generally want to go lighter. Some people are really getting accustomed to getting that flat, dense, dull color.
Okay.
So this is another way to open it up. And when you open up lightness around your face, it's just like contouring with makeup. It adds this brightness and so forth. So Bree is busy applying her color, and I would love to tell you what you need to know about color contouring. One, we're going to select a base color, which is
Okay.
generally your starting hair color
Okay.
or your existing hair color.
Okay. We
Okay.
have that on already.
Yeah, and we applied it.
Okay.
She applied it already to the scalp, and you can see that. Then she took another complementary shade, 8G, so it's actually 2 levels lighter,
Okay.
and it has a gold tone. And if you notice, she's applying it in a very dimensional way. She's not saturating the entire surface of the hair. And as you can see to the left, this is how it came out when she applied it earlier. So it's rich
It's
from the base
subtle.
tone, and it's subtle, but it gives a brunette some blonde to her
Yes.
hair. I mean, it
It
you
looks
know,
so natural. I wouldn't have known that she dyed it.
right.
At all.
Had we used our 8G, which is this lightness that she used at her root area, she wouldn't like it. So
Yeah.
it's really about reinforcing how you can balance with 2
It'd be
shades.
harsh at her root.
It would,
But it looks perfect in the mid shaft. I love it.
I also think it gives her a more natural look as well.
Yes.
You know, it's very natural.
Work appropriate if your job is strict about that.
Exactly. But it gives her also some life and some shine and some body.
Dimension.
So again, what you're going to need is 2 boxes
Okay.
of Nice and Easy. One for your base color, which is your starting color or the color you are right now.
Got
And
it.
2, your highlighter shade, which is your second box. So
So
again,
how do we know how far to go, I guess, when we're picking?
right. So for Bree, we chose 6.
Okay, and that's close to her
Right,
natural.
very close to her natural
It
color.
looks her like
Yep.
she's on the box pretty
and,
much.
and she applied it to her root area.
Okay.
Okay. She put a fresh pair of gloves on, and then mixed. She put a fresh pair of gloves on, and then mixed up her 8G. She mixed up her 8G, and the 8G is what she used on the mid shaft and ends, and that just gives her some brightness. We often get questions if I've previously colored.
Yeah.
Color generally doesn't lift color, but what it will do is will shift color.
Okay,
So again, if
what do
I
we expect
used
from
if
that?
I used 6G all the way through her hair, it would be a little flat and more even.
Okay.
By using 6 at her base, which is more of a natural brown, and then more of a golden blonde on her mid shaft, I'm not getting this bright golden tone mid shaft, but I'm shifting this color
I
to give this amazing brightness and lightness.
Definitely melting so well. So the technique is more hands than brush for this.
Exactly. And bottle. So she used her first bottle again, which was
Okay.
her 6, and then she used her 8G, which was her second bottle. We would never ever mix these two together.
don't-
They're always
don't mix your
separate.
bottles. Got
Yep,
it.
don't mix your bottles. They're always separate. And again, always apply your base color first, and then your highlighting color, just like you do in contouring, right?
Yes.
You contour.
You never mix. You
Right.
have to put them in the correct sections, and then you blend one at a time. And like you said, we start with the darker color usually.
Exactly, and you can see how this hair color blends, which is
Yes.
what color contour is all about. So let's talk about a couple quick tips on color contouring. If you're ready and excited and want to do this at home, first and foremost, keep it simple.
Please.
Always choose, and don't be afraid if you love your shade of hair color, use that shade.
Okay.
That's your base shade.
So if you wanted something different, would you just go a little bit lighter than your natural?
I always recommend a slight bit lighter, but not really light, because
No
at the
3
base,
shades or
yeah,
anything
at
like
the
that.
base, I always generally want a little bit more contrast and a little bit more depth, which
Got it.
generally is your natural color or even a slight bit lighter. The second thing you want to do is choose that second highlighting shade, which is our 8G, is what we used on Brie. And again, you mix that up separately and you apply it as soon as you're done applying your base color. She applied it in this very vertical placement all the way down. And she left some of her natural hair out as well, which is nice to give that additional dimension.
Perfect.
Okay? The other thing I think, when in doubt, like we talked before, do a strand test.
Oh,
this
yes.
is permanent hair color.
Okay,
You know,
so
and I
we
want
want
to
to get this right.
And we can predict it.
Okay.
You can predict it. Brie predicted it, and I think it looks really lovely on her.
It's awesome.
Great.
So I think we are going to do a Q&A with a caller on air. Okay. On Facebook, we have Julie who said, can you do contouring on short hair?
Absolutely.
How would you do that?
Absolutely. So let's say the hair is much shorter. You would apply the same principles, right? You would select a base shade at the base area.
Okay.
And then depending how short and where the hair is short, in some areas you might leave out, you would want to, again, use a lighter shade on the tips or mid-lengths of your hair.
Okay.
So you absolutely can do it.
So your mid-length, no matter what your full length is, starts at a certain point on your head.
Right.
Certain amount of inches?
It depends on the length.
Okay.
So for example, if someone has super short hair,
Like a bob.
like a great spring pixie that's out right now,
Yes.
you know, you only
Everyone
have
goes short for the spring and summer, don't
right.
they?
So you only have those light tips as your mid-length,
Okay.
and everything else stays with your initial base color.
Got it. Okay. So I think we are going to move along to our final segment. Thank you so much, Brie.
Thank
We're
you,
moving on
Brie.
to our bleach blonde. Here's Angie. How are you? So what is Angie up to?
So Angie, I'm going to let you, if we could pull up Angie's before shot
Oh,
when
yes.
she came in
Let's see
today.
it. I didn't get to
Let's
see
take
her.
a look at her before shot, because I think this is probably the most important story that I'd love for her to tell.
Okay.
So if
What
you're
did you have
looking at her
going on?
before shot right now, you will see what she came in with.
Okay.
And I don't want to tell her story. I would love Angie to tell her story about
hear
what's
it.
been going on. So Angie?
Well, I had a lot of damage to my hair because I constantly did highlights. A lot of brass coloring, a lot of breakage, it was very unhealthy.
I've been there.
So Angie came in and said, I need help.
Yes.
I thought, and
We're growing it long, aren't we?
she really wants to grow her hair long. She's a busy mom.
Oh, man.
So, you know, she sees herself, she's out at the ball field with her kids, and she sees herself as a blonde, but she knows she's in this vicious cycle. And so that
You
vicious
want to be in
cycle,
the color you want, but you have to make it easier, right?
right. So, well, and the vicious cycle is the first time you highlight, you love it because it's a balance of your natural
Oh,
color
it's gorgeous. It's
and
everything.
your highlights. Then the next time it's more highlights and less natural color, and that's the virtuous cycle that you get into. And she said to me, Marcy, my hair is breaking. And I said, ultimately, what do you want to do? She goes, I want to get my hair long. So I said, let's definitely use something that I think is a really special product, and it's a demi-permanent.
Okay.
It's called Natural Instincts. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't tried it, but I've heard good things.
Right, it's packed full of vitamins. It's a deposit hair color, so it
Okay.
won't lighten. It would not lighten Angie's hair. So I
Okay.
wasn't introducing more lightness to her
This
hair.
is for those who already have lightened hair.
Right, but what she did when she applied this is see how it's a nice sandy blonde.
gorgeous.
If you saw in that before shot, what did you notice when you looked in that before shot?
Brassy.
Right, but her dark roots
Yeah.
and those very lightened ends. So what people think they have to do is to try to lighten that dark root. And
You
what
have to?
no, what we did is actually
gorgeous.
introduce balanced on the mid shaft of her
The
hair.
rooted look is actually very in now.
Exactly.
If you make it melt, and it definitely melts naturally right now.
So she's applying, she's using 9 in
Okay.
Nice and Natural Instincts. Again, it's a deposit only.
Okay.
She's already applied it everywhere else and she's just applying it. So you can see her application.
Okay.
She's applying it she's applying it first on the hair and then working it through all the way. Again, she can match it up to the root line, but what you'll find, it's very easy. You apply Natural Instincts on damp hair.
Oh,
Not
dry.
dry.
This time. Okay,
Not dry.
that's
You apply it
different.
on damp hair, and that's really important. Not soaking wet, but really towel dried. You'll need at least 1 box. I always recommend getting 2 boxes because
Okay.
it always works really well. Large tooth comb. Always make sure your hair is freshly combed through.
Got it.
Because that's important so you're not getting tangled.
When it
Again,
gets wet, it gets so tangled
Yes,
sometimes. It's
and that's-
fragile, isn't it?
and that's the time it's most fragile.
Okay. So
Right?
if we're minimizing breakage, we have to be careful when it's
Right.
wet.
Large tooth comb.
Got it.
Okay, a large tooth comb, a brush that's dedicated for wet hair.
Okay.
But again, be very mindful starting at the ends.
Work your way up.
Right. When Angie said to me, Marcy, I'm losing hair, it's breaking off, I was like, we've got to take care of her.
Yes.
And we want to treat her hair in the best way
We don't
possible.
want to lose anything. We want more.
Right. Right. So once you choose your wonderful shade of Natural Instincts, then she's applied it. 10 minutes, she rinses off and then uses the inbox conditioner.
Okay.
Which is an amazing color treat. And when she was doing it, she said to me, "Oh my gosh, I love the smell of this." I said,
Oh.
"Please use it as a mask, as a hair mask. You can use it weekly. Or-
Coconut oil?
Yes, or you could use it on a daily, depending on how often you shampoo. So let's talk about a couple tips when using
So what's
Natural
some
Instincts.
post-care blonde tips, especially? Because blonde is always a harder thing to manage.
Right. Remember, Natural Instincts will not lighten your hair.
Got it.
Number 1, it's demi. It's designed to add natural tone back into the hair. So what I really feel what's really important beyond the great color tone that she does have, to retain it.
Yeah.
Because losing your tone with blondes happens all the time.
It's normal.
Right? And
Wear
in the
and tear.
summertime, you want summer blonde, but you're also out in the sun and in
Harsh
the cold.
environments.
Right. So it's so important to use your weekly color treat or
Okay.
daily, how often you shampoo. We talked about it, which is, you can't underestimate it, is brushing your hair and taking care of your hair using a large comb when your hair is wet. As
Got
we
it.
said, wet hair stretches. If you're harsh on it, it's going to snap. It's going to break off. So really
my
treating it.
question is, how about pool care? If we're going into the chlorine with our blondes, what do we do?
That's such a great question, and it
I think
happens.
it's a common problem.
Right. So blonde hair is very porous.
Okay.
So what it does is it tracks itself to all the minerals and the different things that
Sucks it up.
Right,
Got
right.
it.
So what's really important is going into the pool.
Okay.
You can even use your Color Seal Inbox conditioner
Kind
to
of as
protect
like a
it.
preventative,
Yes,
like a sunblock in a way,
exactly.
but a water block.
A water block,
Got it.
exactly, and a sunblock. But what's really important is that you then rinse it out and shampoo your hair immediately upon all
Don't
those
forget.
activities.
Got it.
Lastly, don't hesitate. What I think is really great, once a week or every 2 weeks, using your color treat as a mask, an overnight mask on your
Okay.
hair. It really
Sleep
just
with a
helps.
cap or something on?
You can sleep with a cap, put a towel down on your pillow, use the appropriate amount.
Let your hair really suck it up, because like you said,
Yes,
blonde hair
yes.
is so porous. That would be awesome. You kind
Yes.
of using it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Love it.
Again, I think it's so important for all the ladies out there that love blonde hair. It requires extra care. It requires extra treatment and the right products. So we're super excited to see you when you're all done.
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you.
So we are going to head over here. Well, hello.
Wow, that was fun.
That was fun. It was so fun.
Okay, we've got a Skype. Someone's Skyping in.
Who is it?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
We're good.
Great.
How are you?
Awesome. I had a quick question. I want to do some highlights on my mom,
Okay.
but I'm just not too sure on how to achieve the right, like honey color for her. She's got a lot of grays, so I'm not too sure how long I would need to leave it for her, or how to achieve that honey color that I want to get for her.
This is such a great question. Again, she wants to help highlight her mom's hair, which I think is a great thing.
I've done that before.
Right, to have a partner when you
Yes.
color. and her mom has some gray hair. Okay, so one of the most important things that you should do is take care of that gray.
Yes, that's what the mom wants.
That's right.
Definitely.
So, you know, sometimes you can do it a week apart from one another.
Okay.
Use a permanent color like Nice and Easy.
Oh, okay.
Take care of the gray.
Cover those up.
Yep, and only apply the product to the root area where the gray is.
Okay.
So that you can leave the ends mid-shaft, as we've talked,
And we'll take the other color.
to be able to highlight.
Got it.
Next, you want to highlight on freshly styled, designed hair. That is the critical part to getting really amazing highlights, so that you, however her mom parts her hair, how she styles it, the amount of texture.
Whatever you look like every day.
Right,
Got
without like sprays and that sort of thing. And then pre-plan your highlights, right? Take a few minutes if you want to practice with conditioner and our expert brush using the hair
Practice
painting.
your pressure and your technique.
Yes.
Get it down.
Yes, and
Get
then
the nerves out of it.
and then you're ready to go.
That's awesome.
And then again, process it for 10 minutes, check it. If you like the color, and again, look at it in contrast to the base color that she used on the root area to see that there is a little bit of contrast.
Okay.
The more dimension,
See how far you really want
right,
to go. Got
right. If it's very close, then the highlights are not as obvious. If she wants those highlights to pop, the contrast has to be.
Leave it a little longer, apply it again, you said?
Yes,
Got it.
exactly.
Okay.
Hope that helps you in your journey to highlight with your mom.
Yes, awesome. I love helping my mom. She is awesome, so she deserves some pampering.
Great. We
Definitely.
hope you guys have a great time doing it together.
Thank you so much for your question.
Hi, thank you.
Okay.
So here we are.
Here we are.
I'm so inspired by all the things that you're doing. Yes.
Wow.
What's your secret?
Oh, I wish there was one. It's so hard being female, let's just be honest. There's so much to maintain at all times. So I am always so busy. I am in love with having my hair look great. If I could pick between makeup or hair, it's definitely hair. So I feel right at home with you guys right now. And I think when your hair looks good, you feel good. So I, if anything, try to keep this maintained as well as I can. I've been protecting it with my hats, like you said, staying out of the sun. And I wish I could enjoy the pool like I used to, but I'm not getting my hair in it as much as I used to. There are no secrets, but I'm enjoying the summer now. Are you?
Yes, I am. And today was such a special day to be here together with our models because it was such an authentic journey.
feels
So they
so
were
great.
actually coloring their own hair, and we felt so inspired by that because
Yeah.
there's a level of confidence that happens when a woman colors her hair.
Compared to being scared to do
Yes.
it. After you do it the first time, I feel like you're never scared about that anymore.
Right.
You're just walking to the store, grabbing your favorite color or what you want to try, and you're like, I'm going to experiment and I'm going to have fun, compared to, I hope I don't mess this up.
Right. So generally it's fear. So
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, by learning more about it and getting more comfortable. But
is an
also,
awesome class.
it's been great.
I wish this was around when I
Yes,
started
yes.
so much.
Because what do we learn? Trial and error, experimental, but with
You don't
hair.
get to compare otherwise. This is awesome because you got to see how it was done, and then you can replicate it, compared to when you're at home, you're like, what am I doing? And you have no one to ask.
Right, right.
It's awesome.
And sometimes that's a really good idea too, to always partner with a friend.
Yes.
That's a real honest friend that
Yeah.
can work together to help apply and to help treat. But I
Get the
think
back of your head.
exactly.
It's always tough.
Exactly. But I do think that, you know, when you think about the emotional kind of empowerment, when you feel good,
Yeah.
you truly do look good. You know,
I
in
think
terms
so.
of sometimes, you know, that we work so hard on the artificialness of it, but it's really about how a person sees themselves.
It really is. Beauty is skin deep.
Yes.
Honestly. It's if you could be in sweatpants and your hair's tied up, but you might be just the happiest person because you're confident in how you look. You don't have to be done up at all times. I'm definitely not done up at all times. Even in my career, I definitely love those no makeup days, and just I feel great no
Yes.
matter what.
Yeah, it is about finding who you are and
Finding that comfort,
Yes.
the confidence that
Yes.
comes with it.
using the right beauty tools. I mean, I think of hair color as a tool, just like other cosmetics
I think
or
it's
treatments.
scary when you are insecure about the choices you're making in your makeup or your hair or something. But when you're like, I only need this, this, and this, and I know exactly how it's gonna look and how I want it to look, and you're confident, even if it's not everyone's cup of tea, you're so confident when you walk into whatever room you're going to.
Well, and you're a mom.
I am.
I'm a mom. Different stage of life for
power.
sure. For different stage of life for
Just
sure.
a little, not really. No.
No. So tell me, how do you balance it all with life, family, work, career.
From everyone I've ever talked to from any age group, including my own mother, I don't think it's as easy as everyone thinks it's going to be until you become a mom and you realize, wow, there is so much that goes into this. And then you kind of lose yourself for a little bit. And when you find yourself again, you have to find the balance of it's okay to have me time. It's okay to get my hair done. It's okay to feel good about myself because when I feel good, I'm the best mom I can be. So I learned that mom guilt will always be around, but balancing my work for my kids, balancing my self-confidence, my self-esteem, how I feel about myself is great for my kids too. And it's a good example of how they should be, because I have daughters, when they are moms one day, if they are. So I think it's always going to be tough, but it's important for moms to take time for yourself.
Oh, totally. It's always, as you said, you're constantly maybe being pulled in different directions, but when you're whole, everyone else, the ripple effect to the family, to the work, everything is good. You know, it's amazing. You were also talking a little bit about your fitness schedule and your, how do you maintain all that?
It's hard. I have a planner. I live by it. I literally live by it. It has stickers. I bought stickers, gym symbols, laundry day symbols. That's just how I maintain myself, because I'm like, if I see that sticker that's saying I'm going to the gym today, I need to go, even if it's for a little bit, because I need to take care of myself. I need to be around as long as I can be in the best version of myself for my kids. So I think we have a comment from Twitter.
Yes, I'm so excited.
If we could get
so the
that.
question is, Charlotte's coming in from Twitter asking us how often should she color her hair during summer months. So, you know, we generally recommend about every 6 weeks, depending on how quickly your hair grows.
Does it depend on how you're coloring hair, if it's highlights versus color?
Exactly. And you know what? You might be enjoying your hair a certain way.
You're like,
So
I don't think I'm ready.
You know, it's great to have a plan, and it's important to maintain and condition and take care of your
Put
hair.
on your planners.
But you can also, you can also extend it. You know, you can extend it with other products as well, such as Root Touch Up, which is just, touching up your root area.
So what's the maximum time you would say between?
If I'm doing regular color, I would say between 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
If I'm coloring and adding highlights, I would say
You're changing it up?
Yes, your highlighting you could stretch out that surface a little bit. Just depends on your overall
you're
style.
not doing the whole head again.
Right, but when you look in the mirror and you feel like you're lacking a little life, it's time to add some highlights.
You'll know it. You'll feel it.
It's time for that summer trend to really reintroduce some highlights to your hair. So, again, it's not how often, it's what you use, where
And
you
hair
use
growth
it.
is different for everyone as well.
Exactly.
I know my best friends, their hair are like so fast, and I'm like so slow.
Exactly.
So
everyone
it
is
would
different.
vary. Yeah.
And I think that's also another important point to make is everyone responds to hair color uniquely to them. So your hair is different from anyone else's.
My perfect shade is not your perfect shade.
Exactly. And when you see that box and that photograph, that's
You think
just
that's
a
what you're
gauge.
supposed to be.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
just a gauge. So it's a gauge for you to say, okay, I'm going to take this shade of Nice and Easy.
This is where
I'm
I
going to
kinda
apply
wanna
it
be.
to me, but it's really a combination of where I'm at and that shade. So I hope that answers your question, Charlotte. I know it was long-winded, but again, it's up to you. Recommended generally 6 to 8 weeks, or with highlighting, I would say every 8 to 10 weeks. Again, depending on your look, what you're trying to achieve.
I think we have another question and comment from Facebook. From Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Can the highlight kit be applied over fashion colors?
Again, that's where you need to test.
test
Depending,
this.
there's such a wide range of fashion colors out there. I love it. But those are often what we call direct dyes.
Okay.
So they're lying on the surface of the hair. Sometimes if your hair is
before.
yes, and if your hair is porous, sometimes they penetrate in.
Okay.
So when you take a lightener and apply that on top of it, it has to pull that direct dye
So it might
out.
not
that
highlight
violet.
as much because
Right.
it's using all its power to do that.
Right.
Got
So the best thing to do is to test strand.
Okay.
Test strand in a very specific area using, for example, a Clairol hair painting kit. Use even
Use
a
the
tin
brush.
foil with a
Got
brush
it.
and tin foil to separate it from everything. Check
Protect
it every 10 minutes,
Okay.
reapply, and see how it goes.
Before you fully commit, that makes
Yes.
so much sense. Before
Yes.
you don't know how it's going to react, like you said.
Exactly, exactly. All depends on the hair porosity.
That's awesome. So I think we are gonna. I think we're gonna chat a little more.
So tell me about fashion, because you know, hair is one part of the overall look. Where do you get your inspiration, and how do you define your personal style?
I will sadly admit that I'm pretty sure I'm not on trend at all. I don't follow the trends as much as some of my friends do, but I do follow my friends on now. Social media is such a big thing, and I have a lot of fashion blogger friends, and they tell me metallics are in. These roughly, I don't know the name of those tops, are in. And you see it everywhere right now, especially I think fashion is bright, it's light, just like hair for summer. Everyone likes to go brighter and lighter, and it feels fresher. So I know a lot of my friends are doing like very light blondes. Like there's so many different types of blondes. On the note of blondes, for before and after care, what tips do you have for that?
Right. So it's so important to equally take care of your hair during the color service and after the color service.
Is there anything we should do before, like on the way, like a few days prior?
I think the most important thing is you have to be mindful of all the heat appliances that you use on a daily basis, flat iron, irons, you know, take a little bit better care.
break.
Yes. And I also see that people, for blonding, you know, there are a lot of people that shampoo, they extend their shampoo so it's not every day. You will find when there's natural oils, they'll start to distort your color. So it is important to shampoo your hair, not necessarily every day, but every other day. And then always use the best conditioner possible. And our Inbox Color Seal conditioner is amazing.
Don't neglect that.
Yes,
It's
because
like the secret weapon.
Right, and you can use it a lot of different ways, as a daily conditioner, as a deep conditioner, and as we talked, an overnight
I love
conditioner.
versatility when it comes to that.
Yes.
One tube does it all.
Right, kind of like some cosmetics, right? You
Yeah.
can get, they have a variety of different roles and tools.
Definitely.
Yes. So tell me also about when you think about personal style, because we were talking earlier, Sam and I were talking because of our unique differences in age.
yes.
We were laughing and joking. It's hard to kind of get your own personal style, right? So it is about comfort. And I can tell you what I think is so exciting in summertime, it is about color.
Yes.
Like lighter fabrics, color.
Like the dress I told you to wear.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, well, no, it's just, like I am always in black.
Me too.
Always in black.
My closet is black, white, and gray.
Right. So, you know, really,
everything.
if you're into black and wear a lot of black, you get comfortable seeing yourself in black, it's time
Yeah.
to introduce some colors.
A pop of color can do so much for your day, honestly.
Exactly.
So I think
exactly.
we have another Facebook question and comment. I think, Celeste asked, will contouring work on my gray hair?
It will work amazing. Color contour will work amazing on gray hair. And here's why. Again, taking one color tool, one shade of color, and asking it to do so many different things, again, depending on your length of your hair, is really challenging. Nice and Easy is incredibly dimensional.
Okay.
But by choosing two shades, it gives you like the focus to cover your gray, which is your base color, perhaps the shade you had when you were younger and didn't have gray.
Okay.
So your natural color.
Got it.
Sometimes we say we don't know where our natural color is.
Yeah, we don't see it
Think
anymore.
back to when you didn't color your hair. So you apply that on your gray hair and then use up to 3 shades lighter on your mid shaft and ends. So it will work amazing on your gray hair.
Okay.
And color contouring is just a great way to have a lot of freedom and fun with your color as well.
It is a nice way to, it seems so multi-purpose from what
Yes.
I've heard.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Don't be
Contour.
fearful. Enjoy it.
It's definitely a good one. Okay, we have a comment from Linda on Facebook. How do you color the back of your head? I'd love to know that too.
A great question. So today, I wish you would have filmed me because I colored my hair today.
Really?
In the salon as we were working with the back of my head. And you know the easiest way to do it is always take your head in half.
Okay.
Divide your head in half.
Split it all the way down.
Split it all the way
Part it.
down. And you know what? Small sections are better.
Okay.
Okay, and it's so easy.
Like an inch?
Yep. And just glide the bottle along the root line of your hair, but divide your head in half. If you've got really thick hair, you might have to put 3 sections.
Okay.
But keep it simple, and take your time, but keep it simple. And always, it's never, when in doubt, have a friend.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about this. Husbands, sisters, friends, neighbors.
Just a quick back check,
Yes,
please.
just to help you out. It's kind of a fun
I think
night.
that's why I ended up always either asking my mom to do mine or me do my mom's, because it's nice. It's also nice to have company during it.
Exactly, exactly. Hi, Diane.
Okay.
Another question from Diane on YouTube: how often should you do a full head coloring? Again, it depends on you and your overall look and feel. So if your hair grows very quickly, you may have to color more often. When you're doing an all over hair color application on your roots and your mid shaft and ends, generally in that 6-week time frame is the right tempo. Some people may need to color at 4 weeks. It just depends on them. And the other thing to keep in mind when choosing the timing is, are you going to change your color next time? That will also guide it.
That is true.
So if you
gotta
want
look where you're going.
exactly, you got to have a plan.
That's true.
And hair color happiness happens when you have a plan. So again, you could be using a base color and then using highlights, so that would dictate when you would color it the next time.
Makes sense. Because if you're not doing an all over color over again, why would you
Right.
rush it?
Right, exactly.
Got it.
I hope that helps you, answers that question, Diane.
Terry from Twitter has a question for us as well. What's the best way to highlight a pixie cut?
That is a great question,
Less
right?
hair, what do we do?
Again, you want to create a plan on where you want those highlights. It depends on where you want them.
Okay.
Sometimes, because the hair is really short, you almost have to dry the hair up,
Okay.
because if it's lying too flat down, it's
flat on your
hard,
face, right?
So again, depending on how you style it, you want to style it in that
Put product
direction.
in it, do you not?
Right. And that's another really important tip.
Okay.
When you're getting ready to highlight and plan those highlights, you don't want any product in your hair. You want it
Okay.
dried and styled the way you'd like it.
Got it.
But if it's really, really short and you have a hard time, the other thing that you can use beside our expert brush is a Q-tip.
Oh, how do you use that?
So you would dip your, again, with using your gloves, you would dip the Q-tip. So it's just a smaller application technique versus a brush that you might not have
precise.
long enough hair
They even
for.
make the Q-tips with the little points on it,
Exactly.
so you can really get it.
You
I
could really get in,
that.
and Q-tips are a great tool to use when you have very short
Very
hair.
affordable as well.
Exactly, and everyone's got them, hopefully.
Hopefully. Anything else for that?
Oh my goodness, we're
we've
getting
got
ready
the
to
reveal
reveal.
time?
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited.
Yes, so excited because
I've been waiting all day for this.
And guys, remember, this is real color from real women
They
who
did this
apply it
themselves.
which is so important. And these ladies were such a pleasure. So we're
They
gonna.
were so confident as well. I would have been a wreck.
They were so confident. They
So
felt so
gorgeous.
comfortable. We are so lucky.
We are.
So who do we want to start with?
We are going to start off with Carolina, and she has the face framing highlights.
Right. So let's take a look at her before shot because I think
check it
that's
out.
really important.
Awesome.
So you can see that she had a balayage technique that had grown out. So the 3/4 of her hair was quite dark. And then she had very faded highlights. So you can see, that her highlights, so the highlights are really faded. So we're super excited for you to see how she face framed her highlights to pull her highlights a little higher up, and you can see the results. And if you remember, she did them herself. Come on out, Carolina.
Woo!
Wow, I think it's, what do you think?
I love it. This is perfect. Exactly what I was looking for, and this is just me, I feel.
It looks gorgeous. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to touch. It's so soft and beautiful. It's subtle.
Caroline, you did a beautiful job, first of all. You're an expert and a pro now at highlighting, but face framing highlight, you can see, is just around the face. And by adding those little highlights around the face, gave contrast to everything else. Your hair looks shiny and healthy, and I know your goal is to see your hair grow even longer. So thank you so much.
It seems low maintenance
Yes.
as well. I love this.
Yes, and she used one kit of our Clairol hair painting kit. So, you know, didn't require a lot of time. She processed about 20 minutes, I think, by the time you finished up. But it looks really nice. Thank you.
Definitely happy.
Okay, so next we're gonna go on to our color contouring. Bree is gonna show us her finished look. Hey Bree!
So Bree, you can see her before shot. Bree had like a medium brown and a little bit lightened ends. So we were so excited, Sam, to do this contouring technique.
Gorgeous.
So we used Nice and Easy 6 on her base and root area. And we then used 8G, and you saw her apply it. What do you think, Bree?
I love it. It's such a smooth color and it looks so natural, and it just really, it makes like the whole look.
It's glossy, it's shiny. Again, it gave her freedom to use the shade at her root to give that depth and that dimension and that lightness and brightness on the mid shaft and ends. I think it looks really nice.
It looks gorgeous. So I think our final model, Angie, is ready to show us her blonde.
So remember the before shot, Angie, who you can see is very, very lightened. We didn't want to say the word brass. You used it first, right? We didn't say it first. We said we would never call it brassy, but she felt it was incredibly light and brassy and breaking, as we discussed. She used, I'm going to have you just tilt your head just to this side. She used Natural Instincts, which is our deposit only color. So again, it's not non-permanent. It can't lighten the hair, but if you see in that before shot, you tend to, your eye gets fixated on the roots and the bright ends. It really kind of melts together and blends together. So again, this is something that she can use in between her highlighting salon service that she likes, but again, she's protecting her hair.
It looks so healthy.
And we want to see her with long hair as she wants to have as well. So she broke the cycle of over highlighting.
You would never have known that before picture was earlier today.
Exactly.
At all.
And she did it. She did it 10 minutes on damp hair. I think it really came out beautiful.
Looks great.
It really looks nice.
All of our 3 gorgeous models. Love
Yes.
it.
Yes. Well, we hear all those horns.
Do you hear
honking.
New York
I
going
think
on
they're
right
celebrating these 3 beautiful ladies. For sure. For sure.
So we want you guys to continue the conversation with us because we had so much fun with you. Please share your looks with us. Comment with Clairol's, sorry guys, hashtag Clairol ColorU on Twitter. Please continue the conversation with us. We had such a great time tonight. This was an awesome event. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Marcy, for having me. Thank you guys for joining us.
Sam.
It was great. I hope you guys enjoyed and have a good night.
Bye-bye now.